Hello, welcome back. We are Crystal Lady. This is our podcast, episode 5. I think we're gonna drink and fight today. Welcome. I'm Kayla Mancuso. Guys, what are your names?
My name is Bingo Bungus, and I play Electric Triangle. Also, I play a little bit of the jaw harp, you know, the one that goes...
Oh, I think you're in that band, right? You're that guy?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah,
Yeah,
I've heard of you.
What's happening?
You've never heard of Bingo Bungus?
No.
You've never... What do you mean you've never heard of
Bingo
me?
Bungus and the Doodle Wax? They're everywhere.
What's happening?
Not to be confused with Bungus Bingo and the Wackadoodles.
You have the nerve to bring up my brother, you piece of shit.
Interesting. Well, my name's Corey. And
What's your name?
And Corey's scared of us.
Who are you again?
well, I am the loner / the token in this group. So
Yeah, you're the only person that speaks Japanese.
correct.
Correct.
I'm Dylan, and I play bass.
That he does.
Among other things.
Dylan also has this cat that I have yet to meet, but I have heard the tales.
Aren't you allergic to cats? I don't think you'll ever meet my cat.
I am allergic to cats, but my boyfriend also has it. Oh, I haven't taken Zyrtec in 5 days, and I've seen that cat 4 out of the 5 days, and I haven't had a
You're
reaction.
probably just getting like...
I'm building up a
acclimated
tolerance.
to
An
it.
immunity.
I know. I sent you guys that picture. I sent them a picture today of this 30-pound cat in New York that's
Oh,
like
yeah.
4 feet long.
Oh, that was a cat? I thought that was a dog. Yeah, no,
No,
I know
that's
about
a
that
cat.
cat. That cat's awesome.
I want to go rub my face on that cat. His name-
Die.
If I die by that cat, I'm okay. It can
There's-
step on me and kill me.
There's wild big cats that are that size and can murder you.
We get mountain lions out
And?
here.
What have we discussed, Nick?
What?
What did you just say?
What? Large cats can murder people.
Murder people.
Oh, you're not
Myrtle.
supposed to say.
Oh, yeah.
My God.
Wait, why can he only say myrtle? What is
Guys,
that?
much better.
Because he likes that word.
Corey's ignorant. I don't know.
I don't know.
Because ever from the moment Nick said, "I'm going to myrtle you,"
I'm gonna
I was
myrtle
like,
you.
"Yeah, that's exactly how everyone should say
Oh,
that."
man,
from
we got
now on.
drum.
But I have heard tales of Dylan's cat that he's a big chungus,
He
big
is.
chunk boy.
He's not that chunky, is he?
He's a little big. He looks very chunky because he's a floof.
Oh, he's a
He's
floof.
very fluffy.
Yeah. He's a
Well, a
floof man.
chungus and a floof are two different things.
There's both.
You could be a chungus and a floof.
Yeah, he
No,
can't.
he's
be
a chungus at heart, but he's a floof.
He's still
Okay.
He's still pretty big for a house cat.
Really?
I mean, my little Frank boy is only 8 pounds.
Little baby.
He's a little baby.
What do you think Polo is?
I'm not fucking, I don't know, like 15? I don't know.
15.
That's a big cat. That's
Bull.
bigger than my dog.
Do you have a dog? Like,
Luigi is
Oh,
a
a
13-pound Bichon Maltese, little sweet baby from heaven. I love him. But no, Dylan's cat does this thing that I've only heard of, never witnessed. Nick stayed with them for a few days last winter, and
Please
the-
demonstrate.
and in the summer.
and the summer. But the cat, apparently, the cat vomits
okay.
every day of its life.
Look, first of all,
Most days.
it is my belief that this is not a cat, but some kind of gremlin or demon
Oh no!
or goblin in a cat's floofy body.
Yeah.
And he meows like a grown man. It's like, meow, meow, meow.
That's an old man.
And he meows fucking constantly.
Yes.
He won't shut the fuck up ever.
That's true. He doesn't.
He's just meow, meow, meow. And then you're like, okay, I'll pet you. And he's like still going, meow. And I'm like, oh my God. And then out of nowhere, they didn't warn me, by the way, that this cat sometimes has a little upchuck. You know, he can't help it. He's old. But it sounds like he is summoning the fucking devil, going, and I'm like, oh, Jesus, what is happening?
Nick, I don't know if you should be cursing on the interwebs like that, man.
Oh yeah, Nick, you shouldn't be drinking or cursing or anything on the internet.
Do whatever.
You shouldn't exist on the internet.
I'll do what I want. You know. Hi, Mom.
Nick comes from Georgia, as we have mentioned many times in the past, and we talked about how I have this stereotype of people from the South in my head. They're very prim and proper, and some of Nick's family, he said, is.
Yeah.
Not all of it.
Not everybody.
But some of his family watched our podcast.
It was my mom.
Oh.
I wave to her.
Hey, lady. And
Hi,
I
Nick's
was just
mom.
like, we were, you know, she just said, I don't know if y'all should be drinking in public like that. I'm like,
Public.
Mom, you like to get crunk on the Mike's Hard Lemonades.
Oh, don't
and
call her out.
that Arbor Mist every now and then. I see you.
You calling her out, dog? Yeah. Drag her some more, dude. What else?
She used to whip me with an entire tree branch.
Hey,
damn.
swat.
man.
Child services? Where
She
you at?
buried me up to my neck in sand and let the ocean come up to my nose.
And she goes,
That'll
I
teach you.
saved you. Right when you thought it was over, she pulled you out and she goes, I saved you.
No,
You should love
She
me.
used to threaten me with that. She said that I had other siblings, but they're buried underneath our pond.
Hey.
That one might be true though, like low key.
There's also one. Okay, now here's the best one. So whenever we'd be somewhere and she didn't want us to do something, she would always spin these wild stories. Like we were in a department store one day, and I was trying to run under the clothes racks because they look like fun places to be when you're a child. And so she sees me and she's like, no, don't do that. I used to work at a department store like this. And there was one little boy who ran under a coat rack and it fell on him and it cut his head off. And he spent the
God.
rest of his life in the hospital.
Chill.
And he never had any Christmas.
Oh my God.
I like how he survived.
He just never had any
Exactly.
Christmas.
My man was decapitated and was
Yeah.
just chilling in the hospital.
Was it the head portion of his body or his body with no head?
I didn't want to ask any further questions. That was enough for me.
I'm gonna say that didn't happen.
God, I don't
She
know.
also did claim that in her former life she was Wonder Woman and that the invisible jet was parked over our house and I could never reach it.
So I just need to
And
know
that was
how
before
long.
she used her whip on you, and like
How long did it take for you to like, you know?
Oh, it didn't take me long to figure out that was bullshit, that she was lying to me
What's
constantly.
long?
I don't know.
5 years.
It was probably like 5 years, but that's not that long when you're a kid.
Okay.
So it's like from the time I could speak, like 4, until like, 7 or 8.
Yeah.
See, my parents never tried to pull any bullshit like that on me. But, I mean, if I was getting in trouble or if I was doing something that I shouldn't have been doing, my dad in his scary voice would go, "That's it!" And then I just fucking knew that was it. And if we needed to be threatened to be like, "You want to get your ass kicked?" I would be like, "I certainly do not want to get my ass kicked. That seems like a bad day."
Probably not fun, yeah.
My grandmother told me she was the very first woman Navy SEAL and that she was a Navy SEAL.
What? Was she?
No.
Oh.
My grandma told me that because I used to like to steal her glasses and put them on, and I would spin around in circles and try to run around the house and not fall over. Before I had a brother, I was almost 5 when they had my brother, and so I entertained myself, and that was my favorite game. Put on grandma's glasses, spin in circles, try not to fall over. My grandma told me that if I kept wearing her glasses, I was going to go blind, but I was like, I don't know if I believe that. So I put that theory to test and just like kept doing it. And I was like, I haven't gone blind yet, Grandma.
Calling her on her shit.
Oh, no, but my parents never pulled any like bullshit stories on me.
What
But
about threatening you in creative ways?
they just were like, you want to get your ass beat? And I was like, I don't want to get my ass
No.
beat. I know what it's like to get my ass beat.
No,
I don't
man.
want
Most of
that.
We've all met Joe. He's not very creative.
He is very creative, but he doesn't need stories to scare. He just needs to give you like
My mom didn't need
a
him
look.
either. She was
Yeah, he's
there
got
for
a
me.
loud voice.
Here's what another one my mom used to say was, "I'm gonna break your arm off and beat you with a bloody nub."
But this is where I wanted to go with this. My parents never pulled bullshit on me, but I did like smell a thick aroma of bullshit when they were telling me about Santa Claus and the Easter Bunny and the Tooth Fairy in Christmas 1999.
Because you knew they weren't that creative. with
I
their
was
other
4 years
stuff.
old, and like I had just lost my first tooth because I hurt my teeth trying to open a bag and rip 2 out that like weren't even loose. It was a
Jesus.
big bloody mess. Yeah.
Ow.
And the Tooth Fairy gave me $20.
Well, that was
'Cause
nice of her.
And I like come downstairs. I'm like, Mom, there's $20 here. She's like, oh yeah, I bet the Tooth Fairy just felt bad because you really hurt your mouth the other day. And I was like, so how does it work? Like the Tooth Fairy comes in and like lifts up my pillow and leaves money, and
You were questioning just
yeah.
$20 period?
And I was like,
You didn't just say like, okay, no question.
no, I
No
the
problem.
$20 was hidden in my room. Don't like I stashed it already. They weren't getting my $20
Well, yeah,
back.
I'm not saying they were getting it back. I was saying, well, you weren't like, oh shit, I hope this keeps happening.
Well, no,
That worked.
because I go, so the Tooth Fairy comes in, takes a tooth, takes a tooth out from under my pillow, leaves money, and I don't wake up. I don't feel it, nothing. And I was like, no, Tooth Fairy's magic. And my dad's just staying silent. And I was like, are you guys the Tooth Fairy? And they're like, my dad just goes, yeah. And I go, and then I go, and Santa Claus, he's too fat to fit down a chimney, so I don't think he's real either. Like, that was my logic as a 5-year-old. Santa Claus is too fat to fit down our chimney. And then I remembered we lived in an apartment at one point that didn't have a chimney, and I was like, how the fuck did he get into our
They
apartment, Mom and
explained
Dad?
this in the movie The Santa Claus.
How does he get into apartments?
He just shrinks and goes through whatever vent is open.
It's called magic, Kayla. Hello?
And then I was like very curious as to like why there was a bunny for Easter. Or just like that one never clicked. And I was like, bunnies don't lay eggs.
I never understood that.
Yeah.
I still don't get it.
So then my mom, she was trying, she's like, oh no, it's real, it's real. And my dad goes, no, it's not. And my mom goes, Joe. She was pissed at him. And then I spent the next 2 years like pestering my brother every time he was like, oh, it's from Santa. Because he was younger than me. I was like, psh, no, it's not, fucking stupid kid.
So
Mom and Dad give that to you.
My parents always tried to fool me with that way until I was, until they were just like, you're too old for that shit. But when I was a kid, the ways I found out that the Tooth Fairy and Easter Bunny weren't real is because my parents forgot to like fool me. Oh. Like, I think, the Tooth Fairy thing, I think I might have just like not told them I had lost a tooth that day.
Yeah.
And so they didn't know to put anything under my pillow. And I woke up and I was like, there's still a tooth there. I went, Mom! The Tooth Fairy didn't come. And she's like, you lost a tooth? I'm like, yeah. And she's like, oh, go back to sleep. She's probably late. I just felt a hand under my pillow. It was $1 or whatever. And then the Easter Bunny, I woke up on Easter morning. I walk in the kitchen, and usually on Easter morning, there'd be like, a bag full of goodies, or a basket full of goodies, Easter eggs and shit like that. Yeah. There was nothing. I was like, the Easter Bunny didn't come. And they're like, oh, he's late. Go back to sleep.
Go back to sleep.
And they come and got me like 25 minutes later, like, hey, he just came here.
we let him in.
We had the craziest tradition on Easter, like from the time I was probably like 11 or 12 till I was about 16, 17. It was a short window of time because it didn't work once my brother got bigger than me. What we did is my parents would go out, and it didn't start this way. It started out as like a normal Easter egg hunt. My parents would hide eggs all over the yard, and we had like a tree house, and we had a swing set and a bunch of shit that it could be hidden in. And so it was a very like extensive Easter egg hunt. My mom would do 18 eggs, and whoever got the most eggs was the winner. But when we got a little older, when I was about 11, 12, we started kicking each other's asses for the eggs. I would see like, I would get as many as I could see, like naked eye, and then I'd stalk my brother and wait for him to like spot one, and I'd tackle him, and I'd take the egg and like bolt because I was faster than him, and at the time I could still kick his ass.
Oh God!
So from about 11 to about 17, we did this, and every year except for 2. It ended in a wrestling match. Like the eggs were done. Like all the eggs were found, and then we just straight up wrestled. My dad's got them all on video.
Give me your fucking eggs.
When my brother was chubby when he was younger, I just could throw him off balance easier because I was shorter, I was faster, and I would just have to like give him a good shove, throw him off balance, and then like get around him real fast and get him on the ground. And our rule is if you could hold someone down for 5 seconds, they were out. So
wow, that's a generous rule. It's reasonable.
So no, but the last year we did it, it got like nasty because my brother, I was 17, my brother was 13, and we were about the same size. Or no, I think he was taller than me at that point. Yeah. I'm 5'3", he was probably about 5'3", 5'4", 5'5", maybe in that area. And I was so hell-bent on kicking his ass that it turned into like smacking and like pushing each other's heads into the ground, and like it got bad to the point where my dad's like, that's enough, it's a tie. Like
this has to stop.
Yeah, no, but we didn't believe in the Easter Bunny, so we had to like come up with something else to do on Easter.
Yeah, it's a nice tradition.
Yeah, the annual Easter egg wrestling match.
I just noticed this. You have like CBC carved in the side of these mics.
Oh yeah, my dad bought those from someone at CBC.
Oh, okay.
They're selling all their mics. Yeah,
that makes sense.
Yeah. Well, anyway, you guys want to do a shot, and then we can argue about the issues that we want to argue about. Apparently, they've got a movie that they want to They want to talk about it. They don't want to argue about it. They want to talk about this
We're going
movie,
to argue about
but
it.
it's going to result in a fight. And I don't know anything about it, so I'm just going to have to be a spectator here. But let's do a shot.
We'll try to keep it spoiler free too.
We'll see.
All right, everyone.
I won't be able to argue about it, but anyway.
Bottoms up.
Cheers.
Sneeze.
Oh, it was a mistake.
Oh my God.
Which one did you do?
I did Captain Morgan again.
Oh.
And it was warm.
I did Gobbo Wobble and it's awful.
Yeah. He did the tequila.
Anyway,
Sammy Hagar made that himself.
Okay, Nick.
He squeezed it out of tequila fruits.
well, Corey,
I haven't seen the movie yet, so
Yeah, and you.
Wait,
keep
what
talking-
movie are you talking about? Tell
The
me.
new Star Wars movie.
New Star Wars.
I don't
Okay.
think- but I don't want to spoil it for anybody, dog.
You don't have to.
No, because all the issues I have are plot related.
I won't
We
care.
can't do this.
But I won't care.
Okay, but the people, the dedicated fans watching all of our content will.
First things first. Corey hasn't even seen the movie, and he's already talking mad shit about
That's because
it.
the other two were bad.
no.
I
the
disagree strongly.
Yeah, the one before this one was really good, actually.
I don't really
like-
plan on seeing
just
it, so
dumb.
you can spoil it for me.
How?
We're not talking about.
Why was it
There's
good?
People out there.
Oh, how wasn't it good?
If you
okay.
if you are
No, we're
planning
not-
on seeing, okay, we're not going to
We're
spoil
not gonna
it.
spoil
I was
anything.
going to say, click forward 5 minutes.
No, let's talk about the movie before this one. We can't spoil it. That one's been out
Yeah,
for
The
like 2
Last
years.
Jedi.
Okay,
That one's great.
What was your issues with it, Corey?
So no, my thing was one of my biggest issue was they built up this Sith Lord, freaking Snoke himself, the most powerful being, just like one of the most powerful beings in the galaxy.
No one ever said that.
Anyway,
No one ever said he was one of the most powerful beings in the universe.
Let him
so.
finish.
Anyway.
Let him finish. I want to hear this.
so over, I don't know how many years did it take them to release these two movies, at least the first two movies.
They came out like 2 years apart.
They're
Right?
doing a Star Wars every
was-
even year,
Yeah, it
is
was-
what I read online.
Christmas, and then it was Rogue One, and then it was the next Christmas.
Rogue One was awesome. Anyway, but then I had just such a huge problem towards the end when he's just like, I can see you striking your opponent down, bro. I'm like, bro, you are way too powerful to try to get confused. To your Padawan tricked you to where he cuts you in half with a
Okay,
Padawan?
first of all,
You don't know
he's
what you're
not a
talking-
fucking Padawan.
Yeah, calm down. You don't know what you're talking about.
That dude's a Padawan. Compared to Snoke, his master?
He's a Sith apprentice.
First of all,
He wasn't his
Padawans
master.
Are Jedi.
Luke was his master.
and he was no longer that.
Yeah, he was. Hello?
He wasn't even the same dude. He was now a different dude.
And by the way, this all gets explained in the most recent movie,
It does?
Yeah, you would know that if you'd seen it already. you
and
nerd.
it also never explicitly says that Snoke's like that dude. He just happened to be in charge of like the new.
yeah, it's
And
not
it doesn't
like
make sense. It doesn't make sense. for
it's
a
not
Sith
like there
master
was
to
a
get tricked
Darth
by-
in front of his name.
Yeah, it wasn't Darth Snoke dog like shit.
He was just supreme leader. He was just a
Yeah,
He was
he just-
a politician, and he was a chump.
Yeah,
He was a chump.
he wasn't Palpatine. He was a fucking chump dog. He got killed by fucking Ben Solo.
Okay,
How you gonna get killed by a motherfucker named Ben?
Did you just...
well, I'm very confused here because I thought you guys were going to yell.
that gets his name
Okay,
gets said in the Last
okay,
Jedi.
okay, I thought
That's
so.
that's a couple years old.
That's
so.
when I was like...
I'm confused because I thought you guys were going to argue about Too Fast, Too Furious.
No, we
No.
decided
Oh.
That's coming later.
Dylan said the only
need
reason we would
to argue about Too
There's
Fast
only
and Furious.
the only reason we'd argue about it is if it was one of my favorite movies, which is not. It's just a movie I like.
What
Dylan
is-
You shouldn't
hates
even
that
like
movie.
it. It's fucking awful.
you.
It's a piece of trash. It's a hot turd.
Does anyone have like a favorite movie? Like you will watch that movie anytime, any day.
It's always the Lord of the Rings movie is always for me.
I
Which
got
one?
a few of them.
All of them.
What about the Hobbit ones? You got
The
those?
Hobbit ones are awesome.
But do you count those, or is it just the original trilogy?
I would separate them. They're very different.
I'd have to
Yeah.
separate them.
I'm just asking.
It makes
you know.
sense.
They're very different. I feel like the Lord of the Rings is more like epic, and the Hobbit's more for kids.
What?
Excuse me.
What does that mean?
The Hobbit's more for like.
No, it's not.
Have you read?
No,
the book?
it's
Have you read the book?
It's not.
You know Corey hasn't read the book.
Of course not.
The book was a children's book.
No, okay,
basically.
okay.
Like middle school.
Have you
And
seen
what
the
about
movies?
Have you read the Lord of the Rings books?
Have you seen?
You know he hasn't.
Weren't
No.
like Led Zeppelin's first,
Why
or
would I
more
read
than their
those?
first album was based on
Yeah,
the
a lot
Lord
of
of
it
the
was
Rings
because
books.
Led
Yeah.
Zeppelin loves Lord of the
They're
Rings.
fucking nerds.
And they were adults who banged lots of chicks.
Also, why in the hell would I be reading those thick ass books?
Exactly.
Why would he
They're
read,
not
period?
for kids. The Hobbit's a
I
very
read.
small book.
should I not read?
Also, did you see was it the second Hobbit where they're like in those barrels going down the river?
That shit
Tell
was
me that's
lit.
not some bullshit in it from a kids movie.
That action scene was lit with Legolas just
I didn't
running
say
around
it wasn't
killing them
lit. I'm
hoes.
saying it was shit that you'd see in a kids movie.
I like barely remember what you guys are talking, but I barely remember this
A
fucking
kids
movie.
I've never seen the
It
Lord of the
makes
Rings
sense if you
movies.
said
They're
like
like not great to
if
be
you
honest.
said like a platform.
of you shut up.
That makes more sense. Like if it was like a platform. That was like a platforming game. Like sequence that you would like play in like Crash Bandicoot or something.
Yeah,
Sure.
Yeah, it
That's
was
a
a
kid's
little
game.
silly, but I'm not saying it was
not-
bad. It was just
It's
kind of
not
silly.
even- Why was it silly?
Did you see the fat one was just rolling down the hill in the
This
barrel,
shit,
and then he just caught up with him?
It
like,
was
come on.
supposed to be funny, but that shit was still awesome.
It was supposed to be funny. There's not.
How was that? But how was that?
As someone who doesn't remember it, it sounds kind of fucking
I'm
lame,
saying
Corey.
it's
I'm
I'm
sorry.
not saying. I didn't even say that.
That
I didn't
still
say it was
doesn't even
lame or
make
dumb.
sense.
I'm saying it was a little childish. It was kind of lighthearted. and
how-
fun.
Damn,
How do
Corey's
you-
calling your likes childish, dog. Shit.
That's fine. It's just more so along the lines of I don't see how you see the Hobbits movies as childish, especially with the storyline, with the fighting, with the death, and everything else like that. I don't know how.
There's
that's,
lots of old kids' stories that have a lot of death in them. you ever see
that's
Bambi?
true. That's true.
Sure.
Bambi's
But you-
mother gets murdered
He gets fucking
in the
ghosted.
first
Murdered.
5 minutes.
Fucking
I
Sue.
loved Bambi as a kid. I loved Bambi, Snow White.
Did you ever see Tarzan? At the end,
Tarzan's
they hang the
lit.
fucking bad guy.
That's fine.
And you see
but
a swinging
I'm still
corpse.
trying. I guess then I'm trying to understand. Then you have to.
I mean,
guess,
tons of
reference,
kid stories have like action and like sword fighting and a dog. Like,
Sure, but then that's like then you can like make kids stories like the Fast and the Furious movies are
No
kid stories.
No.
There's too many titties, and there's not even
Too
that many titties.
Wait, what was that meme you saw? It's like a good movie's got to have what? It's got to have
It wasn't a
titties.
meme.
it was a
Kung Fu. That's not
It
me.
was from the movie
Dolomite.
Dolomite is
Oh,
my
okay,
name.
okay.
And they go and see a popular movie at the time that was like a white comedy movie. And this black comedian walks out and he's like, "Man, that movie was trash, y'all. It didn't have no titties, it didn't have no funny, and it didn't have kung fu." And then he makes a movie with all of those.
Didn't have no titties, no funny, no kung fu.
so funny.
Those are the three things that every movie needs: titty, funny, kung
I
fu.
agree with that. Yeah.
What? So your favorite movie is Lord of the Rings.
It's
what
one of
about
my
like
favorite movies,
which
but
one?
Undercover-
one of them?
Which one?
One of
Well,
them? Probably the second one.
Yeah, the second one was pretty great.
okay. So in terms of like funny movies, though, what is everyone's like go-to comedy? Like who
That's a good
who do you think is like
Hmm.
one of the funniest actors, comedians out there? Like what would you go to if you had to like
I'd
pick
say
one?
consistently, for me, I like pretty much most things that Will Ferrell's in. He's pretty
Yeah.
fucking funny.
I don't know. I'd say that too, but I'm trying to pin it down.
I really like Step Brothers, but The Wedding Singer with Adam Sandler from like 1999.
movie.
I think that one is fucking hysterical.
It's pretty
The
funny. I
Other
like
Guys is my Will Ferrell movie.
The Other Guys
Yeah.
is great. Yes.
Oh, you still need to bring that DVD over. I still
shit,
haven't
yeah, I
got a chance
do.
to see that.
I'll bring it next time.
I've seen most of those Will Ferrell movies. I just never remember them. I've only seen
Daddy's
them, like,
Home was
once.
trash.
Yeah, it wasn't great.
Yeah.
I liked Old School. That's a funny fucking movie. Have you seen that
Yeah,
one?
fucking Frank the fucking Tank Dog.
Frank the Tank. Yeah.
I may have seen it.
It's so good. Old School.
I feel like I've seen it. What's the plot? Explain it to me.
This like 35-year-old dude's working an office job. His girlfriend cheats on him, and he's just like bummed out about things. So he buys a new house that's like on campus grounds, and in order
Oh.
to keep it, the house, he has to start a fraternity.
Oh yeah, okay. I've
and he
seen
lets anybody
part.
join. There's an old guy there named Blue.
Yeah.
And Will Ferrell keeps going, "You're my boy, Blue. You're my boy." It's so good.
You know what movie I used to think was like a really good movie, but then I recently rewatched as an adult was Waterboy. I used to love.
It's a good ass. It's
Water
funny
was
as
pretty funny.
fuck.
It's like pretty funny, but I remember thinking it was like the funniest movie I'd ever seen as a kid.
yeah, not
and then I
like-
came back as an
it's not-
adult and I
it's
was like,
not
oh,
that
it was
not so
okay.
funny.
Like,
It was just fun. It's fun to watch though.
oh, you know what
man.
though? The Austin Powers movies, all three of them slap.
They're very great.
I like. They were like on when I was in Chicago, and I
Yeah.
was like, oh, he's kind of slapstick.
They're on Netflix. I watched the third one not too long ago. They're really
I haven't
funny.
seen the movie Idiocracy in a long time.
Oh,
That
that's a
movie
good one.
slaps.
It's so good, dude. It makes no sense.
I got in trouble in kindergarten
gosh.
because me and my friends at the time, so I went to kindergarten with my dad's best friend's kids. So we would all hang out. We'd hang out with our parents, and our parents were very much on the same vein of like, do whatever you want, don't kill each other, and if you do something too bad, we're gonna kick your ass. So we had rules, but it was like, but it was like we would all hang out together, and they'd be like, what movie do you want to watch? And we would always ask Austin Powers. We're like 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 years old watching these movies all together, and then we're going to our small like very uptight Catholic school with each other and quoting the Austin Powers movies,
baby,
and like saying things like machine gun jubblies, baby, how did I miss those in the hallways? Yeah, that's what he says in the second movie when his robot wife like starts shooting.
Yeah, Elizabeth Hurley. Yeah. How did I miss those, baby?
How did I miss those,
when she
baby?
goes, do you smoke after sex? I don't know, baby. I've never looked. Oh, that's a zinger.
I remember my dad used to have his office down here.
The Love Guru, though, by him
No,
is not good.
We don't speak of that movie.
That
I
movie's
saw
so
part of
bad.
it and turned it off.
It's awful.
I think Nick may know more so about some of the old school, like classic, more, I guess, geared towards, geared towards more like minority groups, especially like black people. Like, have you seen Harlem Nights?
Yeah, with
Cadillac.
Red Fox and,
hell yeah,
and Richard Pryor and Eddie Murphy. Yeah,
Life, and especially with with Martin Lawrence and Eddie Murphy.
How about fucking Black Knight, dog?
Dude?
Ooh.
And Undercover Brother is always
That's the classic.
Undercover Brother
That's
is
my
so
fucking
funny.
shit, boy.
Yes, that's a
that was on
staple.
Comedy Central
All the
24/7, dog.
time.
I be watching that. I watched that host so many times, dog.
I had that. That one's the greatest.
It's so good.
The chicks, they call her name. Her literal name was White She Devil.
White She-Devil,
That's
yeah.
the best. There's so many, and Dave Chappelle's in that one too.
Do you know about what movie we're talking about, Caleb?
No.
Oh, it's so
Man.
good. It's
Corey,
Eddie Griffin.
yeah, explain the plot to her, Corey.
Yeah.
Basically, imagine the hippest, most. Basically, imagine it's an old school, like, what would you want to call him? It's basically
It's like a 70s.
like
He's stuck
old
in the
school,
70s.
Like, yeah, he's stuck in the 70s, and he basically becomes an undercover agent, and he is just, the look is, how do you describe, what's the
He
look?
like goes undercover at some like white people office for some reason.
Okay.
Yes.
But my favorite part of it is
How do you
for
describe
some
him,
reason,
though?
I don't even know. I'm gonna describe this part. He doesn't like mayonnaise. So to get past him, have me eat a sandwich and mayonnaise to blend in with all the other white people, he has a watch that dispenses hot sauce.
It's like old,
Onto the sandwich.
It's like old Michael
It's
Jackson
hilarious.
with the fro.
Yeah.
Going undercover, but like he's like not
No, when he
messed up
first-
or weird.
Yeah.
When they first reveal him, like he was in disguise as like an old janitor, and then like his costume gets ripped off. Dave Chappelle says, "Oh shit, it's Macy Gray with pork chop sideburns."
It's a really good movie.
Yeah, I just don't know how to describe to Kayla like in
How
words.
about when like the white intern guy does like kung fu and like
Dude.
explodes a dude? That shit was awesome.
Yeah, Neil Patrick Harris.
Yeah.
Oh, Neil Patrick Harris
Neil-
is in it?
Yes.
Oh my God.
He's the only
That-
white member of the
Of the group.
the Brotherhood.
And he like kills some dude, and Dave Chappelle is like hyping because Dave Chappelle hated the character the entire show.
Yeah.
Movie.
and
he was
they
like,
actually
oh.
and what's funny is that have you guys seen one of the more recent movies that came out? It was the one where the black dude he becomes a cop.
Black Klansman.
Yes.
Oh,
that movie
I haven't
is
seen it yet.
I was
Hilarious.
just
I heard that
thinking,
was good.
I
I heard
watched
it's really
that
good.
a few weeks ago actually, and I was dying. Okay, so first of all, Topher Grace from that 70s show plays David Duke, the leader of the Ku Klux Klan.
Yeah.
And so the guy who's a cop, he tries to infiltrate the KKK, but he's a black guy, so he uses another white cop there to go in as him. But the guy who's trying to infiltrate, he's talking on the phone to David Duke like weekly, and it's a true story. This like really happened. And he puts on this white accent that is like so fucking funny. He says like, "I can't believe this is going on in my good white suburbs." And his whole office is like dying. He's like pulling the phone away. He's pulling the phone away, and David Duke's like, "I am so glad you said that, Gary."
The end gets me so bad. It's because he reveals himself.
Don't
to-
spoil it. I want to watch the movie still. Damn.
Okay, I didn't know that you.
Head ass
really
Corey.
good.
Damn.
My bad.
Bitch.
My bad.
Oh my God.
Oh man.
But no, that's a good movie.
Speaking
really
of,
funny.
we were talking about Will Ferrell earlier too. Y'all
Yeah.
seen Talladega Nights?
Oh
course.
yeah.
Yo,
I'm gonna come at you. like
Probably
Spider
once.
Yo, that's
Help me, Oprah Winfrey. Help me, Tom Cruise.
Help.
Sweet baby Jesus.
Yo, this.
Okay, my favorite line is, "Don't you put that evil on me, Ricky Bobby."
Dear sweet Lord, 8 pounds 6 ounce, baby Jesus.
When he stabs his leg and he's like, "Ah!"
We'll use the
I
other
can
knock to
walk!
pry it out.
You can walk, Ricky. You can walk.
Yo, that movie's so funny. I saw that in theaters
Jeez.
back when it came out, and it was so good.
Oh man.
And I know people like that.
Yo, when
At
you
one
wore,
point, he's convinced he can't walk, and he's at like the hospital in a wheelchair, and they're all doing like sports with all the other wheelchair guys, like playing basketball. He like stands up,
yeah.
sits back down, and he's like, "I can't walk." And then he looks at someone, he goes, "My legs don't work," and he's like, "Your legs work, Ricky Bobby. I'll prove it to you. Take some scissors. I'll stab myself in the leg. I tell you, I can't feel them. Don't do that." And he goes,
Oh man.
There's one, the one that he did with Kevin Hart was not that good.
"That one sucked."
I hated it.
Oh, is that where
unfortunately.
I never watched
It's
it.
Did they
when
like
he
go
was-
undercover in prison or some shit like that?
Oh,
No,
I
he like
didn't see
tries to
that.
teach him how to be in prison.
Yeah.
I saw a movie with Kevin
Mad
Hart
Dog
where
face.
like he was following his fiance's brother who's a cop around like right along.
Right along.
And I remember thinking that was like
That one was
wow.
pretty whack.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
one he did with The Rock was really good though.
Yeah, that
I
was
didn't see that.
them together. They're always pretty much.
You know what?
They're
A
a pretty
great
good duo.
Kevin Hart movie was Soul Plane.
I mean, that's just a classic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really dumb,
Yes.
but it's funny.
Oh man, totally changing gears here from
And
movies.
when are we fighting?
Yeah, what do you guys want to fight about? We've like, I feel like we argue all the time, and now we're trying to, and like we have nothing.
That's how most of the time it happens, though.
There's one thing that me and
how
Dylan
it
can
always
get
is.
into, but we only have so long.
Yeah. What about so we talked about favorite comedies. If you had like I want to hear everyone's one favorite movie. If you had to pick one. So it'd be
It's
one
like
of the Lord of the Rings
impossible.
for you.
No, I
I've
can't even
got-
say that.
I think one of my favorites would be Almost Famous. It would be up there.
That is a good.
That's a good movie, yeah.
I've seen that one a few times.
I can't even say because I had this. I think I had this discussion with the crew one time.
The Archie?
Yeah, the Archie. And I also did it with like anime with them as well. I can't like choose a favorite anime, nor can I
Haikyuu.
choose a favorite. Really?
Easily.
What is it, Dill?
I'd probably say Berserk then for favorite anime. But anyway, that's not the
Favorite
point.
anime? Oh, I guess the 90s one's good.
was
I thought you were talking
sick.
about like the modern one, and I'm like, what the fuck's wrong with you,
Hell
Corey?
no. What the hell's
Yeah,
wrong
what's
with
wrong
you
with
for
you? I
even
don't
thinking
know.
that? No, oh, sorry.
Damn, Corey.
Anyway, movie-wise... Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, I want to hear your favorite movies, and then I got something I want to talk about.
Okay. Favorite movie. If I had to absolutely choose, like, chose. All right. Let's see.
What's yours, Nick?
Well,
let him
Corey's
think.
thinking.
Yeah.
I just the fucking Departed. The
The
Departed
Departed?
is such
Really?
a good fucking movie. Like thinking
Interesting.
about it, I've seen it a million times already, and I could watch that movie a million more.
Oh,
It's so good.
You know what? I'm going to change my answer. I'm going to say Catch Me If You Can with Leonardo DiCaprio.
That is a great movie. Hell yeah.
That's a true story, too.
It is. Yeah. William Abagnale.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say Remember the Titans.
That's a pretty good.
That
movie.
was my movie. As
Oh, that was
a
a-
kid.
Isn't that
It's a
like a
pretty good
football
movie.
movie?
Yeah, I don't even like football, but that
yeah,
movie's my
that's
fucking shit.
surprising. I feel like I
just
had
like-
to watch that.
I just like watching Denzel go off on them.
Yeah, I like that.
That's so funny. No, like he says, "I need some water, coach." He goes, "Water? The only thing you need water for is washing blood on my uniform, and you don't
And
get no blood on my uniform."
Yeah, that's my shit. And the soundtrack in that movie slaps. So.
It does. It's very good.
When I was in grade school, we would have like movie day once every like a semester, and we would vote on what movies we wanted to watch. And like every other year, I was in a class where like the boys outnumbered the girls, and it would come down to Rudy or Remember the Titans.
Remember the Titans. Rudy's okay.
I hated both of them because we saw them so many and I don't remember the Titans or Rudy like the plots, but I remember hating both of those movies because we had seen them so many times.
Rudy's just about Sean.
Now I want to change my answer because like I like that shows movies as a kid. I don't think I've seen it in like 10 years straight.
Yeah.
What movie?
Remember the Titans.
Oh well, think harder then.
Oh, Mighty Ducks was another one that would always win.
Oh, Gordon Bombay. Yeah, I watched that movie. a lot.
I'm bad about like I'll see a movie and I'll remember it for like a few weeks, and like a year later we'll be talking about like, oh, I love that movie, and they're like, oh, the part when I'm like, I don't remember.
Well, for me,
Yeah.
back in the day, we didn't have like cable or anything in my house. We had like this shitty antenna that got like 3 channels that were really bad. And so like we'd watch a shit ton of movies, and we'd watch the same ones over and over again because we were kids, and that's what kids do. They watch the same shit over and over again. And I remember watching. God, I watched every movie I had. I watched multiple times. I remember when I was old enough, or no, when my parents finally allowed me to watch like rated R movies, I watched the Terminator movies all the fucking time. 'Cause those are great. The first two, come on,
They're
you
awesome.
Can't beat them.
No, they're fun. But no, I think I got it now. Because I had to like use the criteria if I had to like just keep watching like the same movie over and over again. Which one would it be? It'd have to be Tropic Thunder.
Oh,
yeah.
that's a
It
good
has
movie.
to be.
That is a fantastic movie.
Because it's first of all, I think that might actually be one of my favorite comedies, and then also that movie's just fucking awesome just to watch.
Yeah.
It's great.
I don't know if I have a favorite movie.
It's like impossible to
It's
choose.
like I definitely don't have one favorite,
Yeah,
but
we've
like
all
what's
listed,
one
like,
of your
5.
favorite movies?
What's one of my favorite movies? I don't know.
It's the first thing that pops in your head when you think of a movie.
Pulp
Like,
Fiction.
Pulp Fiction.
Hey!
Oh,
It's
that's
always
a good. You know what I love about Quentin Tarantino movies is that they are so like open-ended. There's not like a clear linear story throughout.
Not a lot of
It's
them, yeah.
almost like a bunch of vignettes or like multiple storylines, and then they all kind of converge.
Yeah.
But it's never just like it's not a point A to point B movie.
Django
it
was-
takes
I
you
was
like
gonna say, Django
Django was fun
kinda
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
But the Die Hard movies are awesome.
Yeah.
Die Hard, yeah, 1 through 3 are great.
Dude, they're
Even
awesome.
I actually liked number 4. I never saw number 5.
I do really like 4. 5 isn't.
I never
turd.
watched it.
Yeah, 5 isn't like a.
But
But 4 was
Live
four
Free
was
or
dope.
Die
as
Hard-
fuck.
4 was like
The technology that they, yeah.
The-
for me.
and-
It's like 1, 4, 2, 3.
You know what?
My favorite part of Live Free or Die Hard is the end when he's like he got shot in the arm, and,
Of course.
and the guy's holding him hostage. He's like, "Nah, this is what you get." And like he put the gun in his
Yeah,
bullet
man.
hole wound, and he goes, "Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker!" And he shoots the bad guy through himself. How bad is that? How badass is that?
The,
Come on.
you know what? Also,
when he took down a helicopter with a car.
Yeah,
that was so much fun.
that's so awesome.
You know what is actually a really good movie too? That like
I'm more of a Star Wars guy.
Live Free Die Hard actually reminded me of because how much technology was used in that. Freaking Eagle Eye. Have you seen that?
I've not seen
Dude,
that.
I love that movie, dog.
It's so good.
Fucking, I'm gonna demote you to a position where you have to pick up shit with your bare hands. That's my fucking line.
Yes, bro.
Oh man, you know what? Okay, so this is something I wanted to bring up. I've done interviews before. If you haven't, okay, so we did an interview yesterday with STL Roar on. That was a lot of fun. We'll link that so you can watch it here. But I've done interviews in the past with radio stations and stuff where they'll ask me, "What's your favorite album?" I'm like, what the fuck? Like, that for me, I don't think I could pick a favorite album, but also a lot of people don't just listen to a whole album. I do it if I would like the artist a lot. Like I'll sit and I will listen to like, I guess I really like Rumors. I'll sit down and I'll listen to Rumors start to finish. But I mean, I'm not a huge Christine McVie fan. I don't love her voice. So a lot of times I'll like skip those songs, but like, if an album is almost like cinematic, like if the whole album tells a story, then I'll sit down, I'll listen through it, like track 1 through the end.
Yeah.
But I feel like asking someone what's your favorite album, especially a musician, is like weird to ask because I don't even have like a favorite artist because I have so many influences and people that I admire. Like I'm not going to just pick one.
Well,
I feel like
you could list a few.
Yeah.
I'm weird about that because I actually, and I agree with you, I never normally sit down and listen to full albums, especially not like from actual like musician, like actual artist. But I can't even say that because I'm weird about it because I can do it for like game, like soundtracks and movie soundtracks. Because like you were saying, if it tells a story, and especially when I have the movie in my head, and the soundtracks, like I have to listen through all because it's almost like I'm playing the movie in my head, but I really do it for games because it's like I played that game. And so it's just kind of like I know everything that's happening during like each and every soundtrack. And I can say for sure my favorite game soundtrack ever is definitely the newest God of War game soundtrack. That thing is lit. But album wise, like music, like
Breath of the Wild soundtrack. Ooh,
that one
that's
slaps.
great. Yeah, I'll give it
That thing's wild.
have you even played that game yet, Corey?
I've always watched playthroughs. I haven't played it
Whack.
myself. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah, whack.
I have a Switch too.
Yeah.
Anyway.
You're never gonna buy another game, dog.
Yeah.
Whenever, I get what you're saying. Like it depends on the artist for me.
Yeah, it depends on the artist.
There's
Like-
a few albums that I will listen to all the way through. Like I have a CD collection that I keep in my car, and some of those albums I'm just skip around and listen to, but some of them I'll listen all the way through. Like I listen to there's a Primus album called Pork Soda. There's another Primus album called Sailing the Seas of Cheese. Both of those albums are great. Alice in Chains' first album that they did without Lane Staley. Black Gives Way to Blue. That's a great album. Van Halen 1. Fuck yes. Anything by Led Zeppelin 1 through 4, Houses of the Holy.
Yeah, I've listened to House of the Holy start to finish. I've listened to Pink Floyd Dark Side of the Moon start to finish because that is like a concept album. But I'm not going to sit in an interview with someone and think like, what's my favorite album? Think of the ones I've listened to and be like, oh, Dark Side of the Moon, because that's such a, like, we probably can't even count the number of musicians who've been like, oh, Dark Side of the Moon's my favorite album.
Yeah,
like
some of them, no, not for me. No.
I listen to full albums a lot because especially if I'm not familiar with the artist, I don't know what songs I like by them, so I just find an album randomly, but I just listen to it until I find things I like.
What's a recent album that everybody like? What's the most recent album that you've listened all the way through, like that's been released?
It would be a J-pop band's album.
Lana Del Rey
for the Silent Sirens' most recent album because I bought their bass.
Oh,
and I didn't know their music, so I figured I'd listen to their music.
When was that released?
Like 2018. No, they just released an EP that was 2020. Before that, I think it was like 2018, 2019.
Hey, okay, cool.
Lana Del Rey released an album end of 2019 that I listened to start to finish because her albums are also very like conceptual, very cinematic, and she does this thing on a lot of her albums where one song will tail end into the next. She'll like start hinting at that next song in the end of the first song. And so I feel like it makes sense to listen to her album start to finish. And I've listened to every single one of her albums start to finish. When she releases one, I sit down, I play the whole thing. And
that's good.
Yeah, when an artist I like also releases a new album, I listen to it all. Like,
yeah.
For me, it depends on the artist. Like you said, if I don't know the artist, yeah, I like to put on their whole album. Because if I hear a song that I like, I'm like, I wonder if they have any other songs that are this good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I've done that. Sometimes I'll like listen to some of it and be like, nah, I guess it's just the one song.
Like if Alice in Chains' new album came out tomorrow, you'd listen to the whole thing. You'd be like,
yeah.
Yeah. But I'm trying to think of a recent album that
I think the most recent one that I listened to all the way through, it probably would have been the Breaking Benjamin album that actually came out. Ember was actually pretty good.
One I listen to all the way through all the time is 2014 Forest Hill Drive.
Oh, okay.
Start to finish, I listen to that thing all the fucking time. That's wild.
I think Wayne is probably one of the only rap artists I actually listened to this like album all the way through.
Little Wayne or Big Wayne?
Little Wayne.
But gigantic Wayne.
One album that I like to listen to start to finish, and I don't even know the name of it, which is terrible, but I have it on vinyl, and it's a Moody Blues album.
Hey.
And I like to put it on, and I like to like just sit in my room and kind of like zone out because it's very ambient, very trippy, and I've actually fallen asleep to it a lot. I love Moody Blues.
I'll tell you an album that I actually really, really enjoy is it's a jazz album by Ahmad Jamal. It's Live at the Pershing. Ooh. That whole album is fantastic, and yeah, I listen to that whole thing back to back. That's a really good one.
I knew a lot of musicians in college who, like, if you asked them what's your favorite album, they would, like, say hands down, like, wouldn't even think about, like, oh, Bitches Brew, that's my favorite album ever. Like, I'd listen to it all day, every day.
That one's good.
It's good.
It's not my favorite from Miles. My favorite from Miles is fucking Kind of Blue. Just cause
Kind of Blue, dog. Ooh,
it's really
Has
good.
to be.
Also, 7 Steps to Heaven. That's another great album because it's dope. It's Miles Davis, and I like pretty much anything by Cannonball Adderley. I don't want to get too much into jazz, but I love jazz. But another album, a recent album that I really enjoyed. Well, there's 2 from that came out last year. That was Brittany Howard's first solo album.
Oh yeah, I listen to all that. Yeah.
That girl, man, I fucking love the Alabama Shakes, and that.
Oh, I was going to say I don't know who Brittany Howard is.
She was
She's
the singer
chick from Alabama Shakes.
Yeah, and you don't like her, but so shut up.
I didn't say I don't like her.
You said you don't like her before. I
said you didn't like her voice.
No, I've never said I don't like her voice.
You did.
I said I'm not a huge Alabama Shakes fan. Like, I like a few of their songs, but I'm not like enough to call myself like a
I'm a huge
fan.
Alabama Shakes fan, and her new album is basically Alabama Shakes 2.0.
Oh, okay.
It's really good. And then also last year, it sounds a lot like their other stuff. It's not.
I don't think it does. I think it's different.
It's different.
I wouldn't call it Alabama Shakes 2.0 though.
It's I don't know. It sounds similar. But maybe it's just because her.
I think it's just because her. Because I don't get like a roots rock type thing.
I don't know,
or like old R&B
Stay
stuff.
High, I could.
Yeah, that's like the one song though. But like, what's the
She had that other one that was like, what was it, Jamie? That's the name of the album. No, she had one, I don't know, I forget the names of the songs, but I don't know, that's similar. But anyway, the other album that was released last year that I really liked was Billie Eilish's album.
Really?
I like her
Ew.
shit.
I don't
know why.
I don't mind her music though.
I don't really. I mean, her music is just not for me. It's not the kind of stuff I like to listen to. But I get upset at the fact that she gets played on alt rock stations,
Yeah,
like
that's
across
strange.
the country.
Well, there's
And-
alt rock stations in general play a lot of shit that I wouldn't consider alt rock.
I know they're kind of starting to turn, and they're playing music that is just alternative. And Billie Eilish, she's not alt rock. I mean, she's not bubblegum pop, but I would
She's
never.
definitely pop.
You know
Yeah.
what I heard on
She's
the
pop. She's not alt rock.
You know
And
what I-
even the music that gets played on alt rock stations that's just alternative, it at least usually still has a guitar in it. Like her music is just programmed
That's funny.
beats by her brother.
Well, yeah.
and then her voice layered a
I
million
just think
times.
she sounds, different, unique.
No, yeah.
I like her
She's
shit.
definitely different from other shit that's out
and
there
I
right
like
now.
that. But we're talking about alt rock radio. You know what I heard on fucking alt rock radio today? I heard that fucking song that's like, "Come my lady, come my baby, you're my butterfly, sugar baby."
But like, I'm not
You remember
mad
that
at that
song?
being on
Do you
an
not
alt
remember
rock
that song?
radio
No.
station.
That's like mid 2000s bullshit.
Oh, I thought it was like some late '90s stuff. But
Yeah,
no,
but-
It might be
I
late 90s, but it's fucking.
well, who's the
bad.
band that does it? Because I think that band has like they're kind of like rap rock, and I would
Yeah, yeah.
And
It's
like-
alternative rock, right? Yeah.
yeah, I would expect to hear that
Crazy
on an
Town. And
yeah.
no, well, they sampled a fucking Red Hot Chili Peppers song. It's a sample. They don't even play anything. They just rap, and it's not great. We get,
you can't play it on
Am I
here.
loud? Am I
No,
loud?
you can't play it on here.
Well, look it up. It's bad, and they shouldn't play it on fucking alt rock radio.
No, but like I would expect to hear that on alt rock radio, kind of
But
like
not. It was awful. No,
Okay, but just because it sucks doesn't mean it's not alt rock.
yeah.
I would just. It's not alt rock.
kind of like, oh, who was that? It wasn't Linkin Park. It was this band that was essentially a rock band, but the dudes rapped instead of sang. Like that gets played on all rock stations, and like I'm like, it's not really.
Oh, is it the two dudes?
Not 21 Pilots.
Okay.
Yeah, no, like they get played on all rock, and I was like, I wouldn't call that rock
Yeah,
and roll.
same. Yeah,
but,
I wouldn't call that rock either.
but it's alternative rock, I guess. Now,
I
according
wouldn't
to
even call it
alternative rock was a term born in the 90s, and it's what they used to refer to Nirvana. A lot of people called Nirvana like the grunge and Kurt Cobain king of grunge, but they really paved the way for alt rock music because they weren't rock and roll, they weren't hair metal, they weren't any of these things that people knew. And so like grunge and alt rock almost became synonymous at one point. But then there was alt rock that wasn't grungy. Like Alanis Morissette,
Well,
she came out around that time, and it wasn't like a dirty sound, but it was rock, but it wasn't like, Chuck Berry rock and roll.
The thing about grunge is that it covers such a wide spread variety of music. Like if you listen to a Pearl Jam song, that's considered grunge for some reason, and you listen to Soundgarden or Nirvana, and they sound completely different.
Yeah.
like that. I don't. Yeah, so it's kind of a blanket term that doesn't mean like it's a. I guess it just means that era. I don't know what it means.
Yeah.
I mean that, but also I think it's just because there are no new terms that have been like updated to like fit the categories now, especially with
That's true.
how much different music is out there. It's just kind of like,
Yeah, essentially people didn't know what to call that music, and grunge, I guess, didn't fit everything. So like, it's alternative rock. We don't have a name for it, so let's give it a label.
And even that
Like
term's
Nirvana,
very loose.
like Kurt Cobain wanted to be considered like a punk rocker at first, and they're really not punk rock. They've got some songs that I guess are kind of punk influenced, but they're born out of that era. They were listening to like the Germs and the Melvins and bands like that, but they just didn't sound like them.
Yeah.
yeah, we didn't really fight. So interesting.
Yeah, didn't fight.
Me and Dylan haven't talked about our beef yet, and that's
Is your beef about Star Wars?
no,
No.
It's about
music.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
He's wrong.
You're wrong.
I'm correct.
I feel like a lot of people aren't even going to know what that is if you bring it
Yeah.
up.
They won't.
It's all
So,
good.
if they
So we shouldn't- we
if
shouldn't-
they Wikipedia it, it'll probably say I'm right.
It wouldn't.
Well, what they're
Wikipedia real
referring
quick.
to is the blue note in jazz.
Yeah, let's just get into it. Fuck it. Okay, so
or not in jazz, in blues,
in music.
in music.
So the blue note, blue notes, I'm saying, well, Dylan, give us your definition of what blue notes are.
It's a note that's between the minor and major third, dog.
Could you elaborate?
No, any note between there that's not exactly those notes. Or, I mean, you can expand it to be any more notes that aren't within the 12-tone scale.
Yeah, that's what I always understood it to be.
It's called microtones.
Like a microtone is a blue note.
I know what the fuck it's called.
So any microtone?
Yeah, because
I'd say specific ones.
Which ones?
I'd say the one between the major and minor third for sure, and the one between the flat 5 and the natural 5.
Okay.
I'd say those two in particular, and you can probably add more in there. I'm just not super well versed.
Now here is my take on this.
Which is wrong.
Hey, shut the fuck up. Let me talk. So, yes, I agree with everything you just said, that those are blue notes. I'm saying that doesn't encompass all blue notes. There's also blue notes that fit within our standard tonality, that being the flat 3, the flat 5, and the flat 7. And you know what? Wikipedia says I'm right.
Does it?
Yeah.
It really doesn't.
Did you read this article?
I always kind of understood it to be born out of blues, something that the singer would do where a note
in
was
jazz
bent.
and blues, a blue note is a note that, for expressive purposes, is sung or played at a slightly different pitch than standard.
Yeah.
Typically, which would be what, Nick?
A microtone.
Are you reading?
Oh, wow. Typically, the alteration is between a quarter tone and a semitone, but this varies depending on the musical context. Get annihilated.
Bro, you didn't read the whole thing. On the one hand, it may be a microtonal affair of a quarter tone or so. Here one may speak of neutral intervals, neither major nor minor. On the other hand, the lowering may be by a full semitone, as it must be, of course, on keyboard instruments. It may involve a glide, either upward or downward. Again, this may be a microtonal, almost imperceptible affair, or it may be a slur between notes, a semitone apart. So there's actually not one blue note, but two. A blue note may even be marked by a microtonal shake of kind. I agree with that. The degrees of mode are treated this way are in order of frequency.
That's not in the article. That's a quote from
sixth.
somebody.
Yeah, Peter Vandermeer. Do you not know who that is?
No, I actually don't know who that is.
I don't either.
Yeah.
The blue notes are usually said to be the lowered third, lowered fifth, and lowered seventh scale degrees.
By people who don't know what they're talking about.
I'm right.
The Wikipedia just confirmed me. I don't know what the fuck you're talking
like
about.
this is
did you
one
not
of
hear
those.
what I just read?
Yeah, that was some quote. That wasn't Wikipedia itself.
Bro, the one below it, though, it just said it, you moron. It said...
I feel
Don't
like
call
this
me a
rule.
moron. You just got annihilated.
Says the blue notes are usually said to be...
Accept it.
Read.
Accept it.
Look at
yeah,
your balls.
they're
Look
usually
at your
said to be,
balls.
but that's not fucking true, though. So, get annihilated.
Oh my
I
God,
feel like
you're the
this is a very
worst.
gray area in music where
I
like
feel like it's
everyone's
not.
got
It's not.
an
You're wrong,
opinion.
dog. Like, it's okay. Accept it. You just got annihilated on...
Let's
I
start
mean,
a poll.
you two were just reading the same article that kind of both supported both of you.
Yeah, because I'm saying he's right, but also I'm right. I'm trying to say that we're both right, but you're
not
being a dick.
No, you're not right at all, though. That's
Let's start a poll. Who's
I feel
right?
the blue
Me or
note.
Dylan?
The blue note concept is less of a rule and more of like an opinion, like amongst musicians. I've heard people argue both sides of this.
If you play a flat 5, you're not playing a blue note. You're just playing the fucking flat 5, dog.
Dylan, shut your mouth.
I tend to lean more Dylan's direction, but I've heard people say what you're saying.
Because they don't know what they're talking about.
Let's start a poll. All right, who's right?
This
Nick
isn't...
or
We're not
Dylan?
live.
Who's
what the fuck?
They can comment below.
This isn't real time,
Hit that
dog.
notification bell and comment below. Who's
Subscribe.
right or wrong?
Turn on notifications. We are Crystal
We're gonna
Lady.
find out next week who's right, and it's gonna be me.
Next time on Crystal Ladies.
God damn it!
What were we doing that night where like you were playing some like funky ass bass line? I was going like, "Hey baby," like we were like.
I don't even remember.
We were talking like some '70s like cop movie. We're
Recently?
like, no, you weren't.
No,
here.
I don't remember this even.
Okay, cool.
No, I think we were playing Pusher Man or something on like the thing.
No, I think,
No, Dylan was like,
I don't even know.
I don't know.
man.
Dylan was playing a bass line as like this sounds like the dramatic intro of like some '70s cop movie. It was like. Yeah, exactly. It's like, or it could be a song where like it just starts out with like a really deep man's voice, like
He's a cop
"Hey, baby,
with a chip
anyway,
why
on
don't
his
you come over
shoulder."
here and let me talk to you?
This episode ends with Nick getting annihilated on camera.
Sure it did. Sure you did.
All right.
The
Drop the
Wikipedia
mic.
article says exactly what I've been saying this whole time. It totally does. You need to learn how to read.
I feel like you got obliterated.
I feel like you're illiterate.
Well, both Nick and Dylan feel like they won.
That's all that's
I'm
important.
kind of in between.
I mean, I won. But it's fine.
But anyway, we're Crystal Lady. We got some fun shows coming up. You can, most notably, you might want to check us out January 24th at the Heavy Anchor with Vulture Culture and Hazebound. That's going to be a fun one. We go on at 11 o'clock that night. We just got that info today. And
Thank you for telling me right now.
yes. Exactly. We're going on 11 that night. We're going to play a 45-minute set for you guys. We got some new originals. It'll be fun. And Nick and our birthday show is going to be February 29th at venue. It'll be announced January 15th. It is a very iconic venue on Del Mar.
That is not the pageant. And it is not Del Mar.
Quiet enough.
No, we can tell them where we're not playing.
Okay, but anyway, January 15th, tickets are $10. We're going to be with Ground Control, and we are going to be with Q Street. It's going to be fun. I'm turning 25. Nick's turning 26. It's going to be a party. I'm going to bring cake. I'm going to get drunk. It's going to be fun. So we will see you guys out there. For now, we are Crystal Lady. Be sure to come back every Monday for a new podcast. This week's went up late. It went up on Tuesday. So come back every Monday-ish for a new podcast. Sometimes we have technical difficulties and things get delayed. But anyway.
What are you going to do?
This will be coming out on a Monday. So see us next Monday.
Take it easy. I won. I obliterated. I'm the best. Dylan doesn't know shit. He's also
let us know
exactly what I'm talking.
Let us know what you'd like us to talk about as well. Give us some ideas.
Vote below in the comments. I'm
vote
right.
Below in
Just
the
vote
comments.
for me because I'm right. You know I'm right.
You're really not, dog. You just got proved wrong.
Your mouth is dumb. You don't know things. You're illiterate.
I know more than
I
you.
think
You're
next
a
time.
bungus.
I'm a fucking blues champion. I know the music more than you do.
You're a bass player in a band that won the blues championship. Hold your
I
horses.
caused the championship. It was me.
Yeah, sure you did.
And unlimited power.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, Palpatine.
Oh, man. All right. Well, anyway, we're Crystal Lady. Have a great weekend. Have a great week. Have a great life. Come back. Come see us on YouTube. Come see us in real life. Check us out, crystalladyband.com, to stay up to date on all things Crystal Lady. We will see you in the future. Bye.
We love you.
We love you. I love you.